thank you for joining us today. And this particular topic is huge. It's so simple, but yet so missed in our society. It is, in fact, I will preface this subject with water is the number one element, secret element in fat metabolism, in burning fat, in getting rid of fat, in getting rid of that unwanted 10, 15 pounds you gained over the holidays. And it's the secret weapon against weight gain, because let me tell you something. We've talked about this on the show before about acid and alkaline and water. What happens to a tub of acid when you start adding water? It starts to neutralize the acid and make it more alkaline, or neutralizing. So water is the number one thing. And so we're gonna talk about that a little for the next 10, 15 minutes, and then we're gonna continue on with this next 11, 12 weeks on health and vitality. So thank you for joining us. Let me tell you something. If you're feeling dehydrated, if you've got headaches a lot, just first thing you should be doing, and just start drinking and breathing. We talked about that on Friday, about the power of breathing. Oxygen is the first thing your body needs. The second thing is water. So how long can you go without oxygen? A few minutes. How long can you go without water? A few days. So we got to get oxygen, ample amounts of oxygen, abundance forms of water. Specifically, probably you can get alkaline water. Tap water is fine too, but any types of water from I got a filter, and I remember hearing one guy say, if you don't have a filter, guess what? Your body becomes the filter. So we do have a filter that, I spent, when I first moved in our house, about $1,000 filter. Not everyone has that, but every year we got to spend $250 to get a cartridge. But man, is it worth it? People notice when they come over to my house, like the purity in our water, like where's this water coming from? And it's this specially UV filter and all this other stuff, but it's worth it. I mean, Cameron talked about on Friday about his health is worth it. So he's spending the money and the energy and his capital, his hard-earned money on his health, nutrition, supplements, whatever it is, because he knows your health is your wealth. Your number one investment is in your health and your own well-being. So water's the first. So how much water? Well, a basic rule of thumb here is to take your body weight and divide it by 2, and that's how many ounces you should be taking. So let's say you're 200 pounds, divide that by 2, it's 100. You should be taking 100 ounces of water, which is about 10 ounce glasses of water. So how do we do this? Let me tell you something. First thing in the morning, this is what I do. I get a huge glass of water, probably about 500 to 750 milliliters of water. I take, and this is another thing we've talked about. I took 2 pinches of Himalayan salts, pinch it into my waters. Now, we won't talk about that right now, but even just getting some water in your body, take a huge glass of water, do the breathing we talked about on Friday. If you haven't listened to that podcast, do the 1-4-2, just deep diaphragmatic breathing, and down the hatch it goes. That is 1/10 of your, of your 100 ounces that you should be taking in. Immediately start your day with that, with breathing, with water intake. And as I said, it being the secret weapon against fat gain. Well, one of the things they talk about when I was learning about this stuff was when your kidneys are too dry, the liver, which is responsible for part of the components, one of the components for fat metabolism, starts to take over the functions of the kidney. From what I hear, I'm like, wow, that's amazing. And what happens if it's too dry, the kidneys are too dry, the liver starts to take over the function of the kidneys, and then it can't focus on fat metabolism. So water. Now we can talk about what foods you should be taking that are high in water, but we won't talk about that today specifically, but just getting enough water in your system. And here's another good indication of how much water you should be taking in. If you're going pee and your pee is dark yellow, then you're probably not taking enough water intake. And people are like, oh, and they take all these diuretics and like caffeine. And let me tell you, I was in the bodybuilding industry in my early to mid-teens. I started hanging around with a lot of bodybuilders, working with a lot of bodybuilders, and they were taking these diuretics, caffeine. Many of you may have heard of that caffeine, ephedrine, aspirin stack for fat metabolism. And you just it's a diuretic, speeds up your metabolism, and you get this crazy workouts and all these things. I used to take it. But man, did I not feel good at all. I would burn out. I would have like a major crash because I was stimulating my body way too much. I do not take that stuff anymore. I do not promote that stuff because it's an easy fix, a quick fix, but then you end up losing 10 pounds, gaining 10 pounds, losing 10 pounds, gaining 10 pounds. I know a ton of people that have lost 200 pounds, the same 10 pounds 20 times. And so I'm at a stable weight, and I usually, probably fluctuate anywhere, 3 to 5 pounds, but no more than that, because I'm eating healthy. I'm drinking a lot of water. I'm doing my breathing. I'm doing my exercises. I'm resting. I'm recuperating. But water is a big, big part of that in my life. Water. I probably fill this up. This is probably about 500 milliliters to 750 milliliters. Probably fill this up 3-4 times a day. I'm drinking it. And one of the things you can do too, and a lot of people don't like to do this, is drink a ton before you go to sleep. So first thing in the morning, 500 to 750 milliliters, and maybe 500 milliliters to 750 milliliters before you go to bed. And you're like, oh my gosh, I'm going to wet my bed. That's okay. You might get up in the middle of the night and just go pee, but get used to just drinking more water. And trust me, your headaches will go. You'll feel better. Your focus will go up. Man, you will just be energized like you wouldn't believe, just by adding water to your diet. And two, you might actually, for you people listening out there, you might actually lessen your cravings for coffee and your caffeine addictions and your sugar addictions too. So drinking tons of water. Right before I went on the show, I actually had this green drink, not a green drink, sorry, a freshly squeezed juice in my juicer. I juice cucumbers, celery, carrots, and then I throw that in a blender with half an avocado and an apple. And it's like literally I blend it all together and I drink it, and it's instant energy. I mean, Cam had one of them when he was over a couple of years ago, and he said, wow, it was almost like a drug, but it was sustainable energy. It wasn't like this big high and you drop. It was this constant energy that you get throughout the day. I wasn't feeling that energized. I had that juice and bam, it was like, man, I'm back in the game. I'm ready to go. I'm ready to serve. I'm ready to give you the best of Anthony Cheam 5.0. and ready to upgrade 5.1, 5.2. So yeah, drink tons of water. Half of your body weight in ounces first thing in the morning before you go to sleep. It's a secret weapon in fat metabolism. Trust me when I say this. If you're getting headaches and you're feeling down, trust me, water is your be-all. And here's the thing, 70% of your body is water. 70% of the earth is water. So what should most of our foods and what we're consuming consist of? I mean, 78% of our muscles are water. So if we're not consuming a lot of water, our muscles aren't going to function properly. And we can get into minerals and, your potassium, sodium balance and calcium. Yeah, I get it for sure. But water, that stuff won't matter unless you have enough water in your system. So let's focus in on that. Enough water, half of your body weight in ounces upon awakening and before you go to bed. And again, have one of these bad boys just by you all the time in your car, at work, wherever. Just drink. And it's a natural appetite suppressant. So you won't be like, oh my God, I'm hungry. Just drink water. I mean, I do something called intermittent fasting, and I don't usually eat till about 11 or 12 in the afternoon. I go 15, 16 hours without food. And then if I'm hungry, I literally just douse this. I drink half of this bottle and I'm not even hungry. It's back, do some breathing, drink some water. I'm no longer hungry. And by the time I eat my first meal between 11 and 12, man, am I energized? I'm ready to go. The point of the matter is drink more water. Water's your friend. And if you want to even know about like the sort of physics and science of water, other than just being the element for life, you read a book called The Messages in Water by Dr. Masaru Emoto. He's a Japanese scientist. He wrote a book a long time ago. And man, he talked about how water responds to our consciousness, our thoughts, what we say to ourselves, all these things. And let me tell you something, there's nothing you can do better for you than drinking, but then breathing heavy, and then followed by water, those two elements. And then we can talk about the third element, which is eating live foods that are high water content foods, which is going to be tomorrow's subject about eating high water content foods and having 78% of our food as high water content foods, which will just amplify this even more. So you will just feel amazing. And let me tell you something, I've been doing this for eating this way, intermittent fasting, drinking water, 70-80% of water-rich foods, probably for about 6-7 years now, consistently. And let me tell you something, I have no need for caffeine, fat burners, anything like that. I don't use those things anymore. Because I don't need them, because this feels like a natural, genuine, strong and powerful, energetic flow that I get every single day, coupled with the other strategies we've talked about previous on these podcasts. So, but water. We hope you guys got a lot from that. Get your water bottles, go to the grocery store, get a huge bottle of water, start drinking water. And here's the other thing. Last thing I would say is Dr. Masaru Emoto's book, Messages in Water. Before you drink the water, say thank you to the water. It literally changes your consciousness of saying thank you and being grateful for the water, changes the chemistry of the water. If you don't believe me, read that book and what he did as a scientist in studying water and how it responds to our thoughts and our intentions, our prayers, whether we say I hate you or whether we say I thank you, I love you. So hopefully you guys enjoyed this podcast. Tomorrow we're going to talk about eating water, high water content foods, and what does that mean and how it could really change your life and amplify the effects of oxygen and water. So if you love this podcast, please comment, like, share it, subscribe on iTunes or Spotify, whatever, on YouTube. We'd love to hear from you. Ask any questions you want. I'm here to serve you. Cam's here to serve you. We're here to give you the best of what we got. So thank you to your continued upgrade and evolution. Live it up with power, purpose, and passion. God bless, guys.